This is the third video for the Arduino laboratory activity simulation, actual Arduino microcontroller. So we'll work on with this activity, lesson 3, flowing LED lights. I have our setup here. So I have like around 8 LEDs, then a resistor connected to our Arduino controller. Okay, so first thing I'd like to focus on is the resistor. Okay, so again, we need to provide resistors to our components to control the flow of the current. And in this exercise, we need 220 ohms. If you were to buy the kit, the resistors uh, for that specific activity is already included in the package, and usually they have like already labels. Example like this one, the example like these resistors are around 200 ohms. Okay, so that will be the suitable resistor for this exercise. If in case you'll buy resistors by piece, is you need to observe color codes. Good thing is when you Google, there are websites that has resistor color code calculator. Okay, so for resistors there are 4 band, there are 5 bands. So like I'm right now, I have 4 bands here. So for example, I need let's say 00 ko muna. So like I need 220 ohms. So the first band is the first value of the resistor. Second band is the next value. The third band, the third color is the multiplier. So like I need 220, so that's 22 times 10, right? So that's the color, I need red, brown, right? Red, brown. The last one is the tolerance value. So there, okay. So if you are to buy 5 band, then you go here to the 5 band. In the 5 band, so usually the fourth is the multiplier. Example, I need 220 ohms, so 220. So the third band is 0. Then the last one is say yan times 1. Okay? So that's how it is. So now next is LED. Okay? LED. As for the LED, one thing to take note with LED is that, or light emitting diode, they have polarity. Okay, they have polarity. So if you were to look into its pin, there's a longer one, there's a smaller one. Okay, so like there, LED. So there's a small one, there's a much smaller uh, smaller leg, and then there's the one that has a longer leg. So with LED, okay, with its polarity, the longer one, the longer leg is the positive, the shorter one is the negative. For the symbol, if you see this line here, that's the negative, or known as cathode. The triangle is the positive side. Okay, so when you are to work on with the LED, you need to observe the polarity. Okay, so as for what we're doing now, we are working on these flowing LED lights. And again, I'll give you a copy of this together with the laboratory, with the code for this laboratory activity if you want to play it around. So so like if we were to look into this, so the negative side of the LED is connected to the ground, and then the positive side of the LED is connected to the resistor. Okay, so I'll go now here. I cannot like demonstrate the actual way of me connecting components in the breadboard. So I'll just give you some tip to observe when you are to work on with connecting these components in your breadboard. So like first is you connect first the LED. You observe this how it is connected. Okay, how the order is, how the order of the connection is. So like if you notice this side here, okay, so there's like a wire. So like this point of the LED, this leg of the LED is connected to this wire. That's how it is in the breadboard. So you are connecting that part to this point here, and usually this side here, this one, they are all connected. So like this here, this wire is connected to this wire, which is connected to the ground. That's how it is. So the other side of the LED, which is we mentioned in the diagram, it's connected on the positive side. So the positive side of the LED is connected to the resistor, and then resistor is connected to the digital input-output pins. Okay, starting from 2 to 8. Pin 2 to pin 8. Okay? That's how it is. That's how simple it is. Okay? So, those are things you need to observe. Okay, and then it just keeps on repeating. They have the same pattern from this connection of this LED to other LEDs. So, um, so like I have my connections here already. I also have deployed already the program. Okay, so I only use four LEDs na, but in the PDF there's like 8. So now I'll proceed on the um, program. Okay, I'll show you yung program, the one that's included here um, in this Arduino Uno kit. But I've made some changes in the program to make it more simple. Okay, so like in the program, first a variable integer, a variable of lowest pin and highest pin is set. So the pin number, so these 2 and 9 are the pin numbers. Okay, so like the lowest pin is the LED connected to pin 2, the highest pin is the LED connected to pin 9. So we for us to establish a flowing LED, we've used a for loop. So for the for loop, okay, review for the for loop. So this is the statement, okay? So for parentheses, we need to first initialize and declare the counter variable. And then on the next item, we set the test condition. And then the last one, we increment or decrement. Okay? So that's our syntax. So we go here. So like in here, for our program, so we've initialized a variable, this pin. So like this pin is set to the lowest pin. And if this pin is it higher or greater? If this pin is less than, right? Less than or equal to the highest pin. Yes, less than or equal, then it will increment. Okay? And then pin mode is pin mode output. So what will happen to the LED to that pin? So it will have an output. Okay, the output is on the variable this pin. So for us to visualize it, I have a simple diagram here. After this pala, before the notepad. After this is so this is the initialization. So so I have here the looping. This is the for loop for the looping. So again, so let's say what the program I've declared here is that so for the integer of this pin, I've set it on the lowest pin, like in this case is 2. So if it is higher than or equal to the highest pin, then it will output low. Okay? And then after that is, so for example, say for here, because this is the looping part already. So like we start with the lowest pin, and that is say 2. I'll have some simple simulation here. So for example, they set it to 2. So like is 2 higher than or lower than, Control C, go here. Is it higher than or lower than? Because I only have like 4 LEDs here, so up to 5. So is it higher? Is it that did this meet the condition? And yes, right? So the output is low, which is say 0. Okay? So on and so forth, until it reaches, and then in the last statement is that it will increment, right? Mag-increment siya. So increment yung 2, it becomes 3, so on and so forth until it reaches, until it reaches 5. Okay, and once it reaches 5, okay, then it will go on to the next for loop. So in this for loop, let's say integer this pin, then it goes to the highest pin. Okay, and if the highest pin is greater than or equal to the lowest pin, then magdi-decrement. So for example, like in this case, so we are now in 5. So this is the next for loop 5. So like 5, is it greater than or equal to 5? Okay, this is the highest pin, right? 5. And should be, sorry, it should be 2, the lowest pin. Okay, the value should be 2, sorry. So like, okay, there's something wrong here. So this is for the next loop. So again, in the next loop, again in here, what the statement I have here is that for this pin, if it's equal to the highest pin, and if so the highest the this pin is high, the highest pin, which is 5. So if it is greater than or equal to the lowest pin, then it will output high and then decrement. So like again, we start with 5. So if it is greater than or equal to the lowest pin, so the output is the output is, so again, if the highest pin is greater than or equal to the lowest pin, there's an output of high. So ayan, so there will be a high output. So let's say for 4, high output then, right? For 3, same, and then for 2, same. Okay? And then once it reaches this part, it goes on to the next for loop. Okay? And which is this one. So which means it will become low. So in effect, output is that we have a flowing LED. Like if you notice, if you are to look into this, so that's like 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I cannot like stop the LED. Okay, but I hope that in the notepad simulation you've had already an understanding on how the for loop program works. I'm just gonna matay pang